Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to the intro. For reals. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. Couldn't do without you. I'm very humbled, man, by you being here. So we are just 2 weeks into 2026, the new year, and already the second murder has happened in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations. Man, let me tell you, that system behind them walls, it's different. And again, like I've told you in several videos prior, it doesn't matter what prison you're in. It doesn't matter what yard you're on, what day room you're in, what cell you're in, man. It could go down, it could go up at any time, whether it be the general population yard, GP, active or non-active SNY yards, 50-50 yards, integrated yards, programming yards. It doesn't matter. A yard is a fucking yard, right? And that's just how it goes. Well, another murder is occurring. This one I take special interest in because this one's a little bit different. This is a situation where it doesn't all work out the way you thought it would work out. You know, we are an understanding that chomos, bottom feeders, the Jake Harrows of the world, you know, people that are incarcerated for doing things against children, crimes against children, women, and of course, old folks, man, that they're going to go into prison and that they're going to get dealt with, that they're going to get handled based upon their charges. They're considered bad charges in prison. You think, you know, in a wonderful, perfect world, these guys are going to hit the yard and they're going to get whacked. They're going to get removed within a few minutes. That's not always the case, right? There's a lot of people in society that would wish that was the case, especially in some of these very vicious situations where these guys have the most heinous crimes and they deserve it. It's well deserved, right? But it doesn't always work out that way. Every once in a while, there's an anomaly. Something happens. A chomo or one of these guys gets approached and he has hands. He's willing to pick up a piece. He's willing to defend himself. Now, picture this, and don't place yourself in the situation because none of us want to think about ourselves having a bad case like that, right? Some of us can't even see ourselves like that. But just picture this. Say you were a wanted man on the yard for whatever reason. What's the first thing that you're going to do? If you've been laced up, if you've been to prison, if you know what time it is and you know how dangerous it could get, you're going to strap up. You're going to be ready. You're going to be like, hey, nobody likes me on this yard. When I get here to this yard, there's going to be issues. Now, for the most part, most people that go out to that yard, they're aware that they're in a bad situation and they're going to be ready. They're willing to fight for their lives because that's what it's going to take. Now, me, myself, I'm of an understanding that if I'm not in a good position and I'm sent to a yard where I know it's ugly for me, I'm not even going to hit the yard. I'm not going to PC up. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to get off in R&R or right when I get to a building. I'm not playing. I'll explain that a little bit further into this video. But this incident that went down in CMF, right, which is basically Soledad Prison, or excuse me, Solano Prison. This individual, his name is Joe Duty Jr., had bad charges, okay? He is a man that was doing 14 years for some pretty weird charges against minors, okay? So obviously the yard that this happened on was a 2/3 yard. It was an SNY yard because he wasn't going to be placed in general population. So he's around a lot of people of like-mindedness, a lot of other dudes that have charges that are similar to his. So you would think he'd be okay. And I'm sure he was for a little while. Okay. And along comes a guy named Stephenson Kim, an Asian American who is basically locked up doing a life without the possibility of parole case for a murder and an attempted murder. He has righteous charges, but somehow along the lines, he found himself on an SNY yard. Now, again, you'll see a lot of lifers, a lot of murderers, a lot of dudes that have righteous, good charges or what are considered good charges in prison on an SNY yard. And it could be a number of reasons. It could have been gang related. He was involved in gangs and fell on the wrong side of the politics and got removed or chose to drop out and defect from the gang. It also could be a case where he owed a drug debt or got involved in gambling or different things that could wind you up on the other side. That's what it's called, the other side in prison, right? Whatever the case may be, him and this chomo ended up on the same exact yard. And it seems like they had some type of interaction because on January 4th, just last week, there was an altercation. There was a fight. Mr. Duty did not have to pick up no weaponry. Okay? Him and Kim got into a fight. Now, Kim being the guy who's the lifer with the solid charges, he's still on SNY. So I know there's a lot of active gang members that are like, whatever, right? And the other guy who righteously needs to be on an SNY yard and deserves to be on an SNY yard, well, he doesn't really deserve. A lot of people think he deserves to be on GP and get dealt with for what he did to the children, right? But he's on this yard, properly placed, and they get into an altercation. So there must have been some type of drama in between these two dudes. And what happens? Let me explain to you what happens. In just a few short hits, Duty, who is the fucking chomo, winds up killing the guy with the good charges. Perfect example of just because someone has bad charges and they're a weirdo doesn't mean they ain't got hands, right? So on January 4th, this altercation occurred in the day room. And Mr. Kim was found unconscious by staff, right? Staff immediately performed whatever they could perform on him, life-saving measures, and shipped him to a medical facility in the prison. He was pronounced dead several days later on the 12th, succumbed to his injuries for a fucking fight. That's why I say prison is no joke. You never know. You might approach a weirdo thinking, okay, I got this, man. This dude's a weirdo. He ain't got no hands. And he puts dick beaters all over you. And when I say dick beaters, I mean literally. It's what he's in jail for, right? So, you can never judge a book by its cover. Let me explain a situation to you. So I was on a prison yard, and there was this cat. He comes in, man, and the homies clear him and everything like he's cool. So who am I to know anything? I wasn't in a position to fucking check this man's paperwork. He wasn't my cellie. And let me explain to you the way the Northern Plight was. You forward your paperwork as soon as you get there. It gets combed over with a fine tooth comb. It's supposed to. You get cleared after whatever you have to go through. I'm not going to explain the whole process, right? But you get cleared after about a few days, depending on who you are and who knows you. And then it is what it is. You're rocking. You're embraced by the household. You're a homeboy, and no one's going to question you. The only time you're going to get questioned is if you don't perform as a Norteño should and defend the household, right? But if nothing's cracking on that yard, you could wiggle by unless someone comes to the prison that recognizes you, right? So let me explain to you how it worked out for this guy. So he's there. He's probably there for like a year on the yard with us. He's a good homeboy, solid. Anytime anyone needs to get removed or anything, he got involved in one removal and was able to fucking slip away. Like he never hesitated. Okay, never hesitated. He looked the part. Ball-headed, blasted bat, well got birds on him. Just northerned out the game, right? He was from Stockton. And I remember, man, there was a couple other homeboys from Stockton. He knew them well. They knew him well. He went back with them. He knew their family. He knew one of them's dad because the dude was a youngster. He used to fuck with his dad. He was a little bit older gentleman than us, right? So who am I to even question him? Like, that was a solid homeboy. He was actually a homeboy I'd walk up to and be like, hey, what's up, bro? You need anything? Or he'd ask me the same thing. Because that was kind of the Norteño movement, man. We were all brothers looking out for each other, right? Wasn't very many of us on this particular yard. So it was kind of just like, hey, homie, it was a level 4 yard at the time. And so it just was what it was, right? So one day, another little homie from Stockton pulls up. And he's going through the clearance process. And at this time, I'm in position to read his paperwork. I was in position to kind of give my opinion on who this dude was. And I'm betting him. I'm doing my research. I'm with another homeboy. And it's our job to clear this guy at this point, right? And so I'm looking through his shit. And there's a few discrepancies, right? And so he's questioned by the other homie, like, hey, bro, what's up with this? And he's like, yeah, bro. So back in the days, my jefa fucking woo woo, because he had got off. It was like a red on red situation. He had got off on a homie, right? And so he was in question in San Quentin. He had ended up in San Quentin, ran into a homeboy, got off on him. It was what it was. Went to the hole, didn't lock it up or nothing. Just got shipped out, right? And so they never got to facilitate exactly what happened over there in San Quentin. He kind of just disappeared. Homies were like, fuck it, right? Ends up back on the streets after doing a little bit of time wherever he was sent. I don't know if he was cleared. I don't know the whole story, right? But he ends up getting back out, coming back in. And like I said, what happens in your past will catch up to you in the future. And now it's being brought up. There's light being shed upon it, right? And so now it's up to me and the homeboy to properly secure this fucking yard and make sure that he's not coming out here on some riff-raff shit, right? And we were active and all that. And so he's being questioned by the homeboy. And this name that pops up, I recognize it. So he's like, hey, the reason why I did do red on red, homie, but look, that fool was no good, but he was functioning with the homies. He got the homies all brainwashed and shit. The homies didn't know back in the days, this dude did the art thing on my mother, right? Beat her up real bad and did this and that. And, it was reported by authorities. He did a little slap on the fucking hand for it. And no one really tripped. He got out and just kept on doing his thing. He says, and, every time I heard about him or I seen him, he would wiggle on me on the streets. But this dude's always locked up, bro. He's always, so I couldn't get to him. And when I caught up with him in Quimas, I got off or I was mad. I couldn't get a piece, bro, because I wasn't in position to be in a proximity of a piece, right? He goes, well, I would have. So I'm looking at the name. The homeboy's telling me the story, and I'm looking at the name. I'm like, hey, isn't that the homeboy that's on 3 Block? And he was like, nah, bro. It's the same fucking name, bro. Right? He was like, shit, trip out on that. So we tell the little homie, put him on freeze, basically, like, hey, just chill. So the next day, we come out to the yard, and the homeboy gets at the homie from Stockton, right? The one that's been there, the OG, the motherfucker that everyone's chilling with. What's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? This has been, we got, hey, woo, is this you? Hell no, that ain't me, bro. You know what I mean? I would never do nothing like that. All right, cool. Next day, there's some fucking shit going on. But now we were in the process. There was a removal that was going to happen, man. And this dude all of a sudden comes up to the homeboys like, hey, I'm down for that one, right? Now, he had raised his hands on several occasions. Like I said, even been a part of something. But like he had already did what he had to do. He was kicking it. Let the little youngsters, the little young homies that are striving handle that business, right? But he's kind of just like volunteering. You could tell something was on his mind. He was trying to shake the yard is what it was, right? Before the little homie came out and exposed him. Well, guess what? Next yard, the little homie comes out, right? He comes out. He has SBs on him, which is security. He has a security blanket on him, meaning the homies are on him. You know what I'm saying? Watching him. And he comes to the area that we have designated for people that are either on freeze or people that are not cleared yet. And what happens is you go to a certain part of the yard and you have SBs on you. There's security blanket on you. They're watching you the whole yard. You can't walk the track. You can't work out with the homies. You can't do nothing but just fucking stand there and just wait, right? Wait till your number is called and till you are cleared. Then you can fucking do what you got to do. Work out, walk the track, play handball, that. That's just how the Norteño security was. It was pretty elaborate, right? So he comes out, he's under a security blanket, bro, and he sees old boy. And this fool takes off at a dead run. He had an RB that he had fashioned up in his. How he was able to come out to that yard with that was in direct violation of the Norteño guidelines. Like the homie should have made sure he didn't have nothing on him. He shouldn't have been able to make any weaponry. That motherfucker came running out, bro. Right? Caught up with old boy. Went to getting on him, man, and I ain't gonna lie, man. The OG took the thing from him and beat the fuck out of him. Boom, 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 boom. Again, right? So they end up both going to the hole. Come to find out, the OG was all bad. Did have bad charges. Pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Pulled the beard up under my shit. No one knew, right? But he still smashed old boy. What ends up happening? He goes into the oil with some homeboys that are have status, and they said, fuck both of these dudes. Crazy, right? Fuck both of them. This homeboy for having weaponry and he wasn't supposed to and all that. He knew better. He didn't get it clear to handle his business, even though the dude was a fucking weirdo. And the weirdo, of course, you're gone. But I've seen it before where motherfuckers think they're going to get off on some weird motherfucker that has a bad case and he handles his business. It's not always what you think it is, right? Sometimes it's worse than that. Another time, there was a situation where kind of the same kind of deal, right? Dude gets there. I'm doing time out of state. Dude gets there's a native brother, right? He wasn't in Norteño, but he chose to kick it with Norteños, right? And there wasn't very many of us. So whatever numbers we can get, man, hey, gracias, right? And so me and him are fucking on the yard. Which this is like my camarada, my partner, man. We strolled every day, my taita, right? And I had asked him, hey, bro, he wasn't in my cell again. I had a different cell. But hey, what are you locked up for? Just in conversation, not nothing gangster, right? Oh, bro, I got caught with a strap and this, and that. I had a gun and all right, cool. Shit, you know what I mean? Shit happens. And I'm not tripping. He's there for about 6-7 months and ends up getting in a fight with this black dude. Boom, boom, boom. They're chunking him, right? And in the midst of him fighting with this black dude, I'm feeling disgruntled because he's getting his ass whooped, which happens a lot, right? He's getting his ass whooped. Boom, boom, boom. He just keeps getting dropped, right? And I'm like, damn, you're fighting a little old black dude, bro, that everyone beats up, but he's fucking you up. I'm feeling some type of way, right? Because this was a big old homie at the time. He's getting fucked up. Bink, bink, bink. And there's another brother, right? There's like phones right there. And he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, kick that Mexican's ass. I said, man, that fool ain't Mexican, bro. That's a native brother right there. He said, I don't give a fuck, man. You can get it too. Bing, 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 bing. I'm on him. I'm already mad, right? I gave him the 1-2. Let me see you 1-2 step. I love it when I 1-2 step. Grabbed the phone he was on, start choking him a little bit, hitting him with the phone and shit. Cops come out. They see that because they didn't see the other fight that was going on. It was kind of in the blinds, the bliñas, right? But they see what was happening with me and old boy, right? They come out, rush. We all get snatched up, go to the oil. It's cool. It's whatever, right? The brother hollers down to me because they put him in the bottom chair. I'm on the top chair. He hollers down to me. The one I fight, he's like, hey, man, I just want to apologize, bro. You were right. Like, I was in the wrong, bro. I was heated watching a Mexican or native or whatever fighting a brother, man, and I was feeling some type of way, and I know I disrespected you or feeling some time. I'm just saying, man, it is what it is. Like, we can get off again, man, or it could just be love, right? And I said, nah, I ain't tripping, man. Our adrenaline was pumping. You know, when you see a fight going on, you motherfucking makes you all pumped up. So that's kind of what that was. He apologized. I accepted the apology, whatever. I never ran into him again anyway, so it didn't matter. Or I'd have got off. I was lying. You know what I mean? There ain't no way I'm going to fucking fight a dude and just we're going to walk the yard together. And I'll explain to you the reason why. You just don't do that. It's very unsafe. You know, that's the reason why Southsiders and Norteños and even whites to some degree use weaponry and it's a no hands policy. Okay? If you go out on a yard and you fight someone and he whips your fucking ass, you're going to feel disgruntled in some type of way having to walk that yard with them. Or he may, if it's the other way around, right? So when you're fucking on someone, if it comes to that point to violence, it might as well be as violent as possible. You might as well whack them, right? That's the philosophy there. So people that say, oh, Mexicans are just scared, that's why they use knives, they won't catch the fade. No, ain't no fades allowed because there's no way you're going to be able to walk that yard with the same dude who fucking put an uppercut on your ass, right? You look like Logan Paul getting beat up and then podcasting with him. Nah, it just doesn't work that way. And that's the reasoning behind that. And that's how I felt like, oh, yeah, it's cool, man. As soon as I see you, I'm doing something bad to you because I know you're going to try to do something bad to me, but I'll accept the apology so we don't bump baking soda breath while we're here. Guard! All right? Anyways, back to the story. Another homeboy gets there. He's a righteous Norteño, man. I'm chopping it up with them. He's like, hey, boy, you fuck with old boy right there? He was in a different building. I was like, yeah, it's the homie, bro. I'm going to shoot him some soapbox. He's like, man, trip out on this. Shoots me an article. Old boy was all fucking bad. Like the worst of the worst. Right? And it tripped me out because about 6 months prior, he always had chicks he was writing. And this is the fucking real deal. He was like, hey, bro, you want a hookup? I was like, hell yeah. Because anytime you're locked up, man, if you can get a hookup, get a little money, get a little shit popping for yourself, it's cool. So I was like, yeah, bro, hell yeah. This fool shoots me a fucking directa, right? An address. You guys don't even know what directa means. It's been a long time. Unless you were in YA. That's a YA word, right? Anyways, shoots me the directa, boom. I pop at this chick like, hey, what's up? She writes me back like, man, it looked like crayon. I don't know what the fuck that was. I said, oh, hell no, right? Just threw that shit away. I was like, man, who you hook? Oh, man, it's my old lady's little sister. Yeah, how little is she, fool? Right? He's like, no, not like that, bro. She's old enough. I said, oh, what do you mean old enough? So I just never tripped, like thinking, whatever, man. Maybe the bitch couldn't fight a pin. Happens, right? When the homeboy exposed him for what he was, I was like, damn, bro, I wanted to get him bad. Never caught up with him because then he turned full flagrant fucking weirdo on me. Told the cops he's gonna kill me, and then they ended up moving him to a different section. I never seen him again. Anyways, I'm just saying, you just never know with these weirdos, man. You might think you're gonna get them, and they get on your head. That's what I'm saying. Every yard, man, is vicious. Doesn't matter what side, man. Keep thinking that SNY yards and that are poop butt yards, man. You fuck around, go over there and find out. You fuck around, run up on a chomo, and he fuck around and does something strange to you. You know what I mean? And that's what happened here, man. Unfortunately, this guy Kim, who was a lifer, who was never getting out of prison, will never get out because now he's deceased, man. And this other guy has subsequently been charged now or is under investigation for this murder. And it's crazy, man. Second murder, man, of 2026 in the California Department of Corrections. And I guarantee it's just starting out. This is how the year starts out. Usually in the beginning of the year starts out fucking like boom, 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 back to back. They're cleaning up all trash. Shit happens. Then it'll calm down like in the springtime. And then summertime, it gets hot. People get frustrated. It goes crazy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this this video, man. Just a little took me down memory lane, man. Just a little story to tell. This guy, Joe Duty, man, is charged and did kill Stefan Sin Kim in the CMF yard, Solano prison. It just is what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. Can you believe how that dude felt? I'm a lifer, eh? I'm in here for murder, man. I'm going to go fuck this chum up. Beep, beep, boop, beep, boop. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. This video is sponsored by Vario Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're in the area, man, make sure that you pull up and go get you something cold to drink. And also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Arizona, man. Google them, look them up, man. And if you need some yard service, tap in with the homeboy, man. We need to support our local businesses and the raza out there doing things. Bang, bang.